one. So pick 23, the Milwaukee Bucks. Who do you have, man?
All right, so Milwaukee Bucks, I think this is a team that I think they can take a center. I think they can also need some kind of shooter. They just need some kind of depth, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And I think Brook Lopez's years are kind of on the shorter end, and I think a guy I really like. I think this is a guy that can really have nice value. I'm going with Daron Holmes of Dayton. I think Daron Holmes can really be a nice piece for
Hmm.
Milwaukee. I think he can be that guy that kind of like what Brook Lopez does, but better. He's not really like the guy that can really like shoot threes consistently like Lopez can, but he can definitely protect the rim. He can know how to do a pick and roll and be a lob threat. I think
Hmm.
he'd be nice.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick actually. I think he's a guy that definitely can go anywhere from that pick 20 range to early
30 something
second
like that.
round.
Yeah.
So I really like him personally, but we'll see where he ends up. I think that is a good fit. So
I
pick
think so.
24, the New York Knicks, and just letting everyone know, the Nets do not have either of these Knicks picks this year. So it's still the Knicks picks. We just got to remember that Mikal Bridges is now a New York Knicks. So that eliminates maybe a need at the small forward position with OG and Anunoby possibly leaving. Um, with the Knicks here, it's
Yeah,
kind of
OG's
tough.
gonna get a bag, dog. He's gonna get a
Yeah,
bag.
it's kind of tough. There's no Villanova guy really worth taking here, so that kind of eliminates your, Villanova Wildcats feel. Um, there, it's kind of tough, man. They could go a number of different options, like Kyle Filipowski, as a kind of still need probably big men help. They
Mm.
could go Johnny Furphy, but with Mikal Bridges, it just eliminates that wing need a little bit. I'm
Hmm.
gonna go with Flopakowski here. I just think they're gonna go with big men help, which is something that they kind of need. Julius Randle's all right, but they need a more bigger size big man, which Filipowski's a little taller than Randle, even though he has dinosaur arms. So
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna go with the guy with dinosaur arms and cries like a little baby.
Yeah.
Flopakowski.
So I'm also kind of curious to see what the Knicks do with Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean,
Hmm.
Isaiah Hartenstein had a very solid playoffs, and
Two.
he's probably gonna get a big contract. He definitely earned a payday. I'm not sure if the Knicks are going to re-sign him, or if
Yeah.
they do bring him back, that would definitely help with the center depth. But having an extra big man from the draft with one of these next two picks would actually be good for them. So I
So
have the 25th pick, and that's the Knicks again. The
yep.
Knicks
Took the
again.
Flopakowski. Who are they taking now, man?
Okay, I think the Knicks, I think so. Like you said, they traded away Bojan Bogdanovic. He's back at the Nets again for his second stint there, so they traded him away. Okay, and
Mhm.
I think this is a team that really loves defense. And Tom Thibodeau, he preaches defense, right, on the wings, right? That's why he traded for OG Anunoby. Uh, they traded for Mikal Bridges. I think they're gonna draft Ryan Dunn out of Virginia, and I think Ryan Dunn is an elite defender. He can be one of the best defenders in this draft. Not a great offensive threat, but I think being behind all of these Villanova guards that they have and all those depth pieces that they have, I mean. It'll take some time for him to learn, but he can be a guy that the Tibbs can put in to get a stop at a key moment. I
Yeah,
think that'd be a decent fit for
I
him.
like that pick. And with Ryan Dunn, I definitely think he's either a New York Knick or a Minnesota Timberwolf. I think
Yeah,
those are the two teams, preaching defense, and Ryan Dunn is just that. So
yeah.
definitely like that pick. Washington Wizards here, and I'm gonna go with a guy on the G League Ignite. He was getting a lot of hype about a month ago, and hype's kind of uh died down a little bit, but he's a really good shooter for his size, and I thought he was listed as a power forward, maybe. Yep, small forward, Tyler Smith. And this guy, he could
Mm.
play power forward, small forward, and he's also got decent handles for his size. So he could have that guard oriented as well. He's kind of that very versatile player, and you just took Alex R. Let's go with another bigger size guy in Tyler Smith who can play all sorts of positions. So we're gonna go with him
I like the value here. I think this would be a great pick for them.
for sure.
And next
Minnesota
one is
Timberwolves.
the Timberwolves. Okay, the Timberwolves, I think this is a team I think has they don't really need much. I think they're pretty much set on the interior. I do think they probably need some kind of point guard. With Mike Conley's years almost ending. But I believe that this is a team that's gonna take probably one of the better players available, and to see this guy fall all the way to 27 is just wild. I'm gonna go with Keyshawn George of Miami. I really think this could be a great pick for
Mhm.
Minnesota to possibly even play some point guard, even if they really need it. And I don't think he was that great at Miami, but I think his game translates more to the NBA than the college game, because of his size and length. I think it would be a nice pick for Minnesota.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. Like I said, I thought Ryan Dunn could be an option, but he's already taken. So
Mhm,
Keyshawn, Keyshawn George, right? Yep,
mhm.
Keyshawn George, I think is definitely a good fit for Minnesota. Very raw, in my opinion, but
Yeah,
I think that he has a lot of upside that might be worth taking there. So with
yeah,
the Denver Nuggets, man, this is a tough spot. I really like Tyler Kolek possibly there, but I already had the Suns taking him. So
yeah,
now we're going back to square one. I had Deron Holmes going in my mock yesterday, and he's already gone. So making it a little tougher.
mhm,
I think that they're gonna go with just improving depth. And you got Johnny Furphy as an option, but I'm gonna go with Terrence Shannon from Illinois. He has, I think I heard that he's finally been cleared of all those charges, so
yeah,
that's great news for him. I think that makes him much more attractive for
yeah,
a team to draft him. So I'm gonna go with the Nuggets taking him here. The dude has so much potential, and that's absolute stud offensively, and I
yeah.
think he could be that spark plug off the bench coming uh replacing KCP off the bench. You whenever he gets fatigued, he can also play a little point guard as well at times. So I
Yeah.
really like this fit for Terrence Shannon.
I like it too, because we saw that Denver's bench like cost them in this playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, they really didn't have a go-to bench option against Minnesota, and
Mhm.
that could have really helped them win that series if they had got any production from the bench. I
Yeah.
mean, I
And I
think their
think
bench averaged less than 20 points
mhm.
per
And
game
I
in that
think
series.
their
And
bench, they have a lot of guys I see could be really good. Julian Strother could be
yeah,
really good. Christian Brown could be really good.
mhm,
Pickett from Penn State last year could be
mhm.
really good. I see these guys that I'm like,
They
yeah,
really didn't use them properly though.
I
Like, they
see
didn't,
the potential. They're just young. So
yeah,
um, Terrence Shannon, yeah, he's a older prospect, but he'll join the kind of youth size of things. But some of these guys are going to turn out well soon, so
they
I
could,
really
yeah.
like that pick for them.
Yeah, I
And
like the pick for him as well, and I'm just hoping Malone plays him. I mean, give some actually some decent minutes. Like, come on,
mhm,
like give him at least 10 minutes, 12 minutes, like
yeah,
even 20 minutes. Like, doesn't even have to be that much. Like, you can still play your starters like 35 minutes a
mhm,
game, but you can need these guys to play like maybe 12, 15 minutes, give you some kind of spark, and that's
yeah.
what they were desperately needing. So Utah, okay, Utah
Yeah,
had another pick, and we had them take Devin
Devin
Carter
Carter.
at
Yep.
number 10, and I think that's a fantastic pick for them.
Hmm.
And do you see them trading away a guy like a John Collins or a Laurie Markkinen could be gone?
It's tough. We just traded for John Collins, so that's kind of the hard part. And I've heard rumors that Laurie Markkinen could be traded. Um, I heard rumors, I think uh Thunder were a possibility. I think
Mhm.
I heard.
Yeah,
Personally, I like Laurie,
I
but
do
it's
too.
definitely a possibility. With the time frame this team is on,
Mm.
trading Laurie Markkinen and just getting more and more youth.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna take a guy that can really shoot the ball. I think guy can play the wing. He can even handle the ball for you. I think it's more of an older guy than what you're supposed to seeing from a prospect. He was one of my favorite players in college, like throughout his entire career. The guy was just an absolute dog no matter where he played at, could really shoot
Right.
the rock.
Be
And
a great player for
Baylor
the Jackrabbits.
Shireman of the
Yep.
Creighton Blue Jays, I think this is a perfect fit for him. I think he can really help with this floor spacing and shooting needs that Utah struggled with last season.
Yeah.
And Baylor can play, man. Trust me, he can shoot. He's elite
Hmm.
corner specialist. He can be a guy that can pull up from the ball volleyball line, kind of
Yeah.
a guy that can hoop, man. I think this is a
I absolutely loved him at South Dakota
me
State.
too. He was
You
a beast.
remember me hyping
Yes,
him up.
I
I was
do.
hyping him up that whole year, and then
Was yeah.
he got stuck playing against Providence, which
Yeah.
kind of was a sucky matchup.
Yeah, that
But
Friars defense was just tough, man. That
mhm,
was a tough matchup for him. And he still played pretty decently in that
yeah,
game. It just proves how good of a player he is. And
yeah.
I think he can definitely be a late first round pick, early second round. So,
And here
but we
we
can have
are.
Boston, the reigning champions, taken.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Yesterday, I had Baylor Shireman going to the Boston Celtics, actually. So, um, that's not happening here. I would think Deron Holmes is a possibility too, and that's not happening here as well. We're gonna go with Johnny Furphy though. And this guy, I wasn't overly impressed with him at Kansas. He's
Mm-hmm.
very young. But with the Boston Celtics, I think that they can utilize him being young and have him develop behind like Jaylen Brown and not really rush him in, which is gonna really help him succeed.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
with the second round, we're just gonna speed up a little bit,
Yeah,
just
sure,
making it less long of a video. But Johnny
sure.
Percy with the Boston Celtics in second round, the Toronto Raptors earlier took Cleo Ware. Who are we taking here, man?
All right, so Toronto, I think this is it. Again, I think they're gonna take a guy that has high upside. I'm personally higher on this guy than most. And this guy used to play at Wake Forest. And he was pretty decent there. But then he went overseas to play at Sweden. I think Bobby Clinton has an NBA build
Mhm.
kind of body, and I think he actually is a really solid shooter when he was at Wake Forest, like that I remembered. And I think and with his length, I think can cause some matchup problems, and Toronto can really need a guy like this off the bench.
Yeah. Solid pick. Him next to Cleo Ware is gonna make that front court really interesting
That
for the
could be, yeah.
future too. And Utah Jazz, here again, we got Devin Carter and Baylor Shireman earlier. Um, I think they're just gonna need to improve the depth as we see right here. We got the guards of the future, Keontae George and Devin Carter. Colin Sexton is decent too. Jordan Clarkson is really good. So I really like the backcourt right now. Small forward needs some help. Bryce Sensabaugh. Um, I'm not that big of a fan of. Yes, he was a rookie last year, just not a fan of him. But
Mhm.
you got Laurie Markkinen who can play the small forward too as a big small forward, and
Yeah,
now Baylor Shireman, so that helps. Um,
yeah,
this is kind of tough, man.
yeah, it definitely does get tougher here.
Yeah, especially how deep down here we are getting right now.
Wow,
Could go with the Utah kid with Dylan Jones, but think
Mhm.
that's a little too early for him.
I
Um,
think so too. Yeah, I'm taking
I'm
you.
gonna go with a guy who was pretty good as a freshman at UCLA when they were really good. Adem he was really good as a freshman sophomore year. He was got more opportunities since the team was much worse. He was iffy though, in my opinion, as a sophomore. But him next to Walker Kessler, as Walker Kessler's backup, I think would be decent. So we're gonna go with Adem
Not bad. I like it, and it can really help here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Okay, so
Lucky
the
Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, so I have them take Deron Holmes in the late first round. I think this is a team that I think they need like to work on their wing depth. And I got them taking a guy that is very experienced, very talented player. I'm gonna go with Harrison Ingram, North Carolina. I think Harrison Ingram would be a
So
very solid early second round pick.
I like that pick for them.
Mhm.
Portland Trailblazers here. And they got Holland and Salon. So they improved their small forward and power forward position there. And like we said earlier, they don't really need the guard depth yet. Uh, a guy like Bona would have been really good in this position, but he's already gone. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a guy. He's listed as a power forward, but I think he could play center. It might be a little early for him, but I really loved him at Marquette. I think he's got elite floor vision. He's pretty mobile for a big man, and that's also Iguodaro from Marquette here. Might be a little early, especially by the ESPN rankings, but I like him a lot.
Yeah, I like also Vidal, very solid and pass, very good passer for a big man.
Hmm.
And he was actually pretty solid with the Golden Eagles. Yeah, I like it. And then the San Antonio Spurs. Okay, so the Spurs took Stephon Castle and Dalton Connect
Yep.
that we have here. I think they're gonna take a guy. I think they're gonna take another guard here. Even more guards. Really like load up this backcourt. And I think they're gonna take a flyer on AJ Johnson here. I think this is a chance where uh
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
he's right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're gonna take a flyer on him here.
Mhm.
I think because they really need guys that can really like have some kind of shooting ability, some kind of playmaking ability, and they
Yeah.
can take more of a chance here with what they drafted earlier.
Yeah, and he's very raw. Like you
Wow,
said,
yeah,
he's a flyer. He needs to gain some weight. He's like 160, 170 pounds. So
yeah.
he definitely needs that muscle
Hmm.
gain. But with the San Antonio system, they have a lot of history with those types of players. So
Yeah,
I think that he could really succeed there. Might take a couple years to really play, but second round pick, I think is worth it. So
yeah.
Pacers here, it's their very first pick of the NBA draft. They got two later picks in the second round as well. And
Hmm.
looking at them, they're fine with point guard. Halliburton and Nembhard are two really solid point guards for them.
Hmm.
Um, they just took Joey Walker. Last year. Matherin got injured this
Hmm.
past year, but he's a really good player. I could see them going center. I could see them going shooting guard though, as
Okay.
well. And I'm gonna go with the shooting guard here with Jalen Tyson from California. I think this kid is gonna be very solid, so we're gonna go with him.
Yeah, I like the pick. I mean, he was a bucket, man. You can really hoop.
Hmm.
Yeah, Minnesota again. All right, so I saw Adam take Keyshawn George in the first round. I think that the Wolves, I think they're going to address more wing, and I think this is the perfect fit for this team, and that is Kevin McCullough.
I
And
was about to say that, man.
Kevin
I was
McCullough
literally
is
hovering.
the perfect fit for this team. You know he will defend. You know he can shoot, and he will provide that wing depth that they need. And this is a perfect fit.
Yeah.
I don't need to explain much else.
Yep. You got the risky option with George earlier, and now you get one of the safer options with McCullough. So I like that pick for
I
them.
like it too.
So we're the New York Knicks right here. They got Flapikowski and Ryan Dunn earlier.
Mhm.
And this is tough. I just think they go with guys here, they're in a really good spot, just improve depth a little bit,
Yeah.
possibly. And I think this guy is an underrated defender. Or they go, it might be too early for him, but might be a little too early for him, but we're going with an actual elite defender matching the Tom Thibodeau system from Houston, Jamal.
Oh. Oh, I hope so, baby. Go to 44. No. Oh my gosh. No, I love me some Jamal
It
Shaw.
might be a little early for him, and he's on the older side, but elite defender.
Yeah.
Tibbs loves his defenders. And
Okay.
you got Jalen Brunson and Miles McBride in the point guard rotation. Adam Shed has a scary point guard rotation right there.
Yeah, I cannot deny that. I get that. I would totally agree with that. So Memphis, okay, Memphis. And Memphis, I think this is a team like we have him take Rob Dillingham here at number 9. I
Yep,
think they can add more guards. Add
big
they
man.
could add a guy with some kind of muscle here. I think they're gonna add Jonathan Mogbu from San Francisco. I think this is a guy who's kind of undersized for a
Mhm.
center, but he is muscular. I mean that I saw a lot of San Francisco games last year, and he is a load. I mean,
David Roddy.
shoot, yeah. I mean, he's
I mean,
got.
isn't David Roddy also on Memphis? So
He could be. I mean. But yeah, I mean, like he can hoop, man. I mean, I'm telling you, this guy is solid. I mean, he's a willing defender too. I think he was one of the better defenders in that conference, and I think it would be a good fit for him. So, what do
yeah.
you got Portland taking?
So Portland has really beefed up this front court in small forward position with Holland Salon and Ego Daro. Um, yeah, they don't need guard help, but with how they're focusing on the front court, they could sneak in a guard position here. And this guy is an absolute bucket. Cam Christie from Minnesota. I'm a
Mhm.
big fan of him. He was a
Really should
bucket
pull. Yeah,
at
he's good, right?
Minnesota. So we're gonna go with Cam Christie here. Yeah, they don't need guard help, but they already focused on the big men in this draft. Why not just add another guard piece?
I like it. I think he's a solid player. I think this would be a good pick for them. So
76ers.
Philadelphia, okay, Philadelphia. We had him take Jared McCain
Yep.
at number 16. I think they need to take a guy that could really provide some kind of floor spacing. And I think that Pelle Larson of Arizona would be a great pick for them here. This guy was an energy guy at Arizona. He was a willing defender. He's a very solid defender. He can hit threes in spot up situations. Definitely a guy that can provide a spark off the Sixers bench, and you know they're gonna have a ton of cap space. You know they're gonna re-sign Tyrese Maxey to a max deal. They're gonna let Tobias Harris walk. I think they're gonna
Mm.
need some wing depth, and Pelle Larson could be there.
Yeah. And here we are with the Charlotte Hornets. They took Donovan Clingan last
Mhm.
round. And now I think they need a guard here. And there's some options. Um I'm gonna go with a guy that might be a little raw coming from overseas, Nunez. I think with LaMelo Ball, you let Amari Bailey take a step up this year. You gotta play him and see what he's got. I'm a big Amari Bailey fan
Mhm.
personally. I think I had him as close to top 5 prospect in last draft. Top 10 prospect, I know for sure. And he was a second round pick. I was very high on him. So you let Amari Bailey play and then let Juan Nunez develop and let him grow into the United States, but let Mari Bailey take those backup point guard role next season, and then maybe Nunez can be the guy when LaMelo Ball is gone.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
like it.
go Juan Nunez right there. Miami Heat,
Uh,
man.
Miami Heat. Okay. So the Miami Heat, I had them take Jacoby Walter at 15, and I think this is a great pick for them. I think another guy that would actually be a very good pick is a point guard, and I am very high on this guy. I watched a lot of his games in college. I think he was a conference player of the year. I don't think he was this year, but I think he was the year before. Um, but this is a guy that is very talented. It's AJ Mitchell at UCSB. I was very, very high on this guy.
Yeah.
Um, he can really score. And
Yep.
he's actually a pretty solid passer too. And he usually turns these kind of picks into productive players. I think this would be a great pick.
I like that pick. And yeah, UC Santa Barbara took a step back this past year, but he was still a bucket getter as we
Yep.
saw 20 points per game. So he's
Mm,
still a very good player. I think for a second round pick, he are looking real good with Jacoby Walter and AJ Mitchell.
yeah.
Houston Rockets right here, and we took Reed Shepherd last time. And you know, they could go numerous different options. I think they have a really solid young core here. It's just what can help bench wise right now. Um got Melvin Ajinko, who I'm actually a fan of overseas for a late second round pick, but I'm not really thinking they go with him. I think that might be a little early, but for one of the smartest players in this draft, national champion, Cam Spencer, I'm a big fan of. I don't think he's going to be an absolute stud, but for a second round pick, you're just looking for a decent role player who knows his role. And Cam Spencer, he knows his role. He was good at Rutgers, I believe it was.
Mhm.
He was
Yep.
good at Loyola, Maryland, I
Yep.
believe it was.
Yep.
And he went to UConn, might have taken a step back, not like playing that focal point role, but he played a key role and he was arguably their biggest X factor on that team. And
Yeah.
for a second round pick, give me Cam Spencer for the Houston Rockets.
I love the pick. I mean, he could shoot. He's a winner. I mean, it emphasized every that this team needs. They need shooting, like we said. Like that's why we took Reed Shepherd, right? So now we take Cam Spencer, who is a fantastic shooter, by the way, as well. It would just help so much. So I'm glad you took Cam Spencer right there. That's
Mhm.
perfect. There's
Yeah.
Sacramento. We have to take Bob Carrington here, and I think this is a team that's gonna take a guy like I'm taking Jalen Wells at Wazoo. I mean, he
Like
had
that.
some really good moments. I still remember the game against Arizona where he had a huge game against Arizona, and this guy can really play. I mean, I think it would be a good depth piece.
Hmm. And here we are with the Clippers, and They are just so old, man. Paul George, I think might be gone this year.
I think he's
There's,
gone too.
there's a lot of rumors that he's gonna be gone.
I think
And
he'll be gone too.
I'm personally not a fan of this guy, but he's raw, he's young, he was a top recruit last year. He kind of struggled with a lot of great freshmen on his team, and that's Justin Edwards.
Yeah, okay. I'm not opposed to that pick. They need to get younger for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You are Orlando Magic, and the Magic, I think they definitely
Tristan
need
De
shooting. Like we
Silva.
said, we took Tristan da Silva, and I think that's a great value pick for them. But I love this guy here, and that is Keyshawn Johnson of Arizona. I think he is such a good defender, and he actually improved his jump shot with Arizona last year. I think this will be a good value pick for a second round.
I like it. San Antonio Spurs, so they got a winner, great defender in Stephon Castle, great offensive player, Connect, who's NBA ready, and then the raw prospect in AJ Johnson. They could go numerous different options. I'm going with another Frenchman. You know, you got two top Frenchmen right here, Picomi Dadiet, and then Melvin Ajinka. I'm going with Melvin Ajinka. I think this guy could be a really good pick here.
Mhm.
Spurs love their Frenchmen,
Me
with
too.
Wemby, Tony Parker in the past.
Mm.
Now, Melvin Ajinka.
Yeah, not bad. All right,
This
Philadelphia.
pick's been forfeited, so we're just gonna scroll all the way down, man.
Take a
And
guy that's like actually returning to college or something,
yeah,
like Big Z or something. Yeah, we'll
Big Z.
yeah, Big Z. He's actually returning to Arkansas.
So
So
Pacers, man, who are the Pacers taking?
Pacers. Okay. I think this. I think they take Dylan Jones. I think Dylan Jones at 50, at 49, 50, whatever it is
Hmm.
a steal. I think Dylan Jones.
I like that. Pacers again. Wow, back to back picks. And for them, man, I see Bronny James, man. But
Yeah.
nah, we're gonna go with a guy who I think is an elite shooter. I was really impressed with him at Baylor, and that's Jalen Bridges. He's gonna be that spot up shooter type player, and
Mhm.
I think that's a great pick for them.
I like the pick too. I think that's a fantastic pick for them. All right,
Wizards, man.
Washington, 52. All right,
Or
Washington.
51 technically with
Yeah.
the
All right, so
forfeit.
Washington. All right, so the Washington Wizards. Okay, and I think into Alex or Tyler Smith. Okay, I think they're gonna take a guard, and I'm gonna go with KJ Simpson from Colorado. I think KJ Simpson is actually really good for the Bucks last year. It was the
Mhm.
main reason why they won the tournament, won two tournament games last year. I think
Yeah.
this is a guy that can provide some need at the point guard position. What do you got Gold State taking?
I was hoping you were gonna take the Frenchman, get that France crew in Washington,
They have
missed
too many Frenchies,
opportunity.
dude, man.
So Warriors, I just think they need to improve that backcourt. It's getting so old. Clay
Yeah,
Thompson might be gone.
I agree with that too.
Curry's getting old.
Chris Paul is shit. He's like 40.
Yeah, Chris Paul is a bum. Uh,
Yeah.
man,
Oh,
I
I
don't
know.
know why people aren't as high on him as I am. I'm going with Tristan Newton. I think
Yeah,
this guy
that's,
was arguable. I think he was the best player on UConn last year.
I think
Better
so too.
than Clay
He
Thompson.
actually was the MVP of the
I
NCAA
don't know
tournament last
why
year.
people are so low on him. Like people
Because
are
he's
saying
old,
he should
probably.
go
Because he's older.
undrafted.
That's
I
probably
like
why.
Tristan Newton, man. I'll go
I
with
like
him.
him too, man. I think that's a steal. I love that.
Pistons, man.
All right, so the Pistons, I think this is a team that I think they're gonna go with a raw prospect here. I think they're gonna take the Frenchman here. Pacom Dariet. I'm not
Yeah.
really good with that kind of name, but I think they won't let him slip that far. All right, so go with Boston, 55.
Yeah, Boston. Who knows, man? You got Bronny still, but I think they got the raw prospect in Johnny Furphy. Now I think they want to go with a more NBA ready guy and
Mhm.
trying to figure out who that might be for them. And
Oh, I think I see him.
guys, I think we saw the same guy. I
Yeah,
like PJ Hall here,
me
the
too.
bruiser type
He's a
player.
dog. I love him, man.
And
That's
I
good.
think they need to improve that big man position. So
I
PJ
do.
Lakers man, is this where Bronny goes?
I think so, and I am very very reluctant to do it, but it just makes too much sense, and
I agree.
I hate it. Pair him up with Isaiah Collier, I guess.
Yeah.
Go into this
I
market,
also think
like Le-
if you don't draft Bronny here,
LeBron is gone.
LeBron's gone for sure because he's going
They
wherever
have to draft
Bronny
Bronny,
goes.
or
And
he
it'll
just
just piss him off if
yeah.
they don't draft him.
Oh yeah, it has to be. All right, Denver.
Oh, Denver, yeah. They went with Terrence Shannon, NBA ready guy for their bench. And I think they want to go with I think they should go with a guy that improves the front court now and say already improved the back court.
Yeah,
And that could be a number of different options. I'm going with N'Faly Dante from Oregon, though. I think he was a pretty good
like it.
player at Oregon at times, so we're gonna go with them.
Yeah, I like the pick. And 58, we have
Grizzlies.
Memphis. Memphis, we have J. Dillian, Jonathan Mogbu, and I think they're gonna go with another guy that can really shoot the ball. I think they're gonna take more of a broader prospect here. I think they go Nikola Jurisic. Because I
Nice.
think they just need just more guys that they can develop.
hmm And this was a forfeit
Orphan.
pick, so we're gonna pick Zeke Mayo, who is now at Kansas,
Kansas.
so congratulations. Um, but with the final pick, the Dallas Mavericks, and it's their only pick of this draft. And honestly, I just think they need some spark plug sort of player. So you could go with Antonio Reeves, who I really think is
Mhm.
a decent player, and could go Miller from TCU as well, keeping him in Texas. But looking at this, I think they're gonna go with Antonio Reeves here from Kentucky. This guy was an absolute beast. He was in the race for player of the year at some point. He was in that top five race, let's
Yeah.
just say. Edie had it won by a landslide, then it was connecting probably Reeves as the third guy for the player of the year. So I think that's a good final pick. And
Yeah, I
we
think
are
so.
done. And
Not
here is
bad.
the draft for anyone wanting to pause. And just gonna scroll all the way down to the bottom. And there we go. And we are out. Pokeball Show is out of here.